Herzlich willkommen bei deinem Gebärmütter-Talk, dein Podcast für deine Schwangerschaft, die Geburt, Familie und dem Frausein. Hi, wir sind Katrin und
Inken.
Und zusammen sind wir die Gebärmütter.
Hier in deinem Gebärmütter-Talk soll es um dich gehen. Als Frau, werdende Mama, als Mama und um euch als Eltern. Wir möchten dich in deinem Vertrauen stärken, dich inspirieren und begleiten.
Wir freuen uns total, dass du uns zuhörst und sind gespannt auf unsere gemeinsame Reise hier in diesem Podcast.
Yay! Hello, Celia. Willkommen. Well, we are having I'm a little bit confused because normally I do this introduction in German and now I'm talking in English. So yes, I'm very, very happy to speak to my lovely friend Celia in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. And yes, we want to talk a little bit about the differences between German doulas and doulas in the US. And please introduce yourself.
Yay! Hi! Thank you for having me on your podcast. Unfortunately, I don't speak German, but I've found when I'm in Germany, most people can speak English with me. So hopefully they'll enjoy our podcast and get to hear about, how different it is in these different places. So I'm Celia. I'm a mama of two little wild children. Nadir is 4 and Soraya is 9 months. We live in Berkeley in the Bay Area, just across the bay from San Francisco. And I am a doula and hypnobirthing practitioner. Yeah, and we met through our husbands who are co-founders of a tech company.
Yes, it's so crazy. When we first met each other, you were a doula and I was a hypnobirthing practitioner. And now we are both.
Yes, we inspired each other. Now we're covering all the bases.
Yeah, it's just so crazy. And we've met a lot and like everywhere over the world. We've met in San Francisco, we've met in Germany, we've met in Tulum, Mexico.
Oh yeah, that's great.
And I think also some other, I don't know, the Ostsee and
more countries to come, I'm sure.
Yes, more countries to come. So
and you've also gotten to participate in some of my doula group events when you've been here.
Yes, so exciting. It's always so interesting for me, it's that's one thing, that you have agencies over there and we don't have agencies over here. So that's one of the differences, I think. For us here in Hamburg and in Germany, you have some teams, but we don't have agencies.
Yeah, it's nothing official like licenses or anything like that. Yeah. Here we've got all of that. I mean, when I started out as a doula, it was just me, solo, and a lot of doulas still operate that way. And I'm sure there are some small groups and cooperatives and things like that too. But we also have agencies that are, I guess, really companies that have to abide by certain laws, and doulas are independent contractors, which is what I am. So I now operate in my own solo practice, but I also work with a doula agency or referral agency called Brilliant Births, and I just call it my doula group.
Yes, that's so nice. I met your group and I also met the founder, and I really enjoyed it to be with you and listen to your stuff, how you are doing it. So that's so cool. I really like it.
Yeah, it was fun having you. I really love it. It's changed my work as a doula because it's not so lonely, for one. And, we have we're doulaing each other. We support each other, and our founder of Brilliant Births creates these really fun workshops where we get to all come and learn and hang out and, get all birthy and nerdy together.
I really, really like it. That's one of the things why I thought of starting an agency, but then I said, no, not now, maybe later. So I just started this group, and it's the Hamburger Doula Dance, which I started, like this year with some other brilliant doulas, lovely doulas. And so now I also have a team, and I really, really like it, because it's just so nice to have a backup, to always have somebody that you can ask and talk about the stuff. And so it's really just great. I really love it.
Yeah, it's better for parents too. All the time we're messaging each other during a birth, like, do you have any ideas? This is what's happening. Because, when you're in it, your mind isn't always thinking of all the things that you would think of when you're kind of removed from the situation. So it's like the hive mind.
Yeah.
How many people are on your team now, in your group?
We are just growing, so I cannot really tell you.
Oh, okay.
Nobody did know that before I said it. So you will find out. We were 4, and now it's changing a little bit. And I think in the end we will be 5, I think.
Sweet.
So it's very nice. I really love it.
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting is how known doulas are in the US and in Germany. And I think it's a big difference. I mean, in Germany, I just try to found out. I cannot, it's just like, there's nothing like so many percentage or whatever. You can just say maybe numbers of birth. And so it's actually really growing here, and growing very fast. The first one here started in 2008 to bring the doula work to Germany. And that's the one I learned my stuff from. And now we have a couple of services who provide that, becoming a doula. And we also the doulas in the north just doubled during the last, I don't know, year, or maybe tripled. I don't know. It's really it's growing. And I also think that the media is really coming to it, and they want to know what it is. And so it's coming more to the minds. And hopefully in some years we can have this talk again, and then I can say 10%. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have some data someday.
Yes.
Yeah. I looked up I tried to find a percentage or number as well for the United States, and I think it was something like 6%, but that seems so low to me. And I think that's because I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we're kind of like a weird bubble of people. There's a lot of tech people here. It's just a very busy, big place. And so I think that there's a lot more doula work, or people hiring doulas here, than in other places in the country. Of course, I'm just the one meeting all of those people, so it seems like a lot to me. But yeah, we're busy over here. And even during the pandemic, it almost has felt like more busy. More people are hiring doulas, even to be with them at home before going to the hospital, or a lot of people are switching to home birth, and just figuring out how doulas can support them, even virtually. I've done some virtual births where I'm just on FaceTime.
Yes, yeah, that's just so interesting to, have more virtual contact also. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's very different. Obviously, we can't support with our hands, which is a lot of what doula work is. But yeah, I mean, advocacy and just having someone to talk you through things, I'm sure makes a big difference.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, but I think that it is becoming more and more well known here, doula work. I mean, 20 years ago, nobody knew what a doula. I don't even think the word doula or the profession doula existed. People just maybe had a friend come to the birth with them.
Yeah, and I mean, that's nice too, it's very good if you grab somebody and say, okay, come with me and join me and be on my side. And I think when I just went to a birth where I just were at the hospital with one woman, so there wasn't a husband around or something, and it was just so intense again. It was really like being there with her and just us both, and sometimes the midwives coming in. And it's like I could not do anything just to be with her. That was all, and it's all that I'm for. It's not, I don't have anything else to do. It's just be there.
Yes, we're here to serve the birthing person, number one. Yeah. Have you found any kind of resistance from midwives or doctors, like with doula? Are they friendly towards you?
Yes and no. A lot of midwives are very open-minded, and we also have a lot of very young midwives over here. So they are really like, what's that? And so like really they want to know everything, and so that's very nice. And sometimes we also have midwives that are a little bit like, what are they doing? What is it? So I think it's both, but a lot more, like from my experience, most of the midwives are very open to that.
Yeah, same here. Most hospitals I've been in, the midwives have been very welcoming to us doulas, and especially since the hospitals have been opening up more after being closed for so long to extra support people. I think it's the same in Germany and US in terms of lockdown for COVID, that pregnant people or birthing people were not allowed to have extra support people in the hospital. And so doulas have been kind of the first people allowed back in. And I've been there a few times since that reopening, and the nurses and midwives have been very happy to have us. I think it makes their job easier, and it makes the birth more smooth. Having more support is better.
So doulas and the other birth partner are allowed?
In most hospitals, yes. Although the wording is weird in the policies. I've read online some of the policies for different hospitals, and they say only one support person, which is, your partner probably. But then a few lines down, it says, and you can have a doula if she's, vaccinated or provides a negative COVID test. So yeah, they are opening up to us, thankfully.
Oh, that's so nice. We just had the first hospital in Hamburg, which opened for us, the doulas, again. So, and I'm on call for, a birth with the partner and the doula. So it's very exciting, and I hope that some hospitals will join this, that we can come back. Yeah. I mean, sometimes the women also say, okay, then just the doula comes with me, or they say, okay, you come to our house, and then we will drive and you go home. So that's I think that's probably the same. The couples just choose what they like, and then I'm there for them whatever they want. So
yep, same here. Yeah, and I've been lucky enough, or my clients have been lucky enough a few times this past year where we were able to labor at home together for a very long time. And then I go with them in the car and drop them off at the entrance of the hospital. And then they push the baby out like an hour later, which is amazing.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah,
it doesn't always happen like that, so we can't really plan or time everything.
Not. But if it works like that, it's just nice. It's kind of a home birth with like the birth in a hospital.
Yeah. That's the final act at the hospital.
Yeah, the final act. Yeah, that's just great. Yeah, for here, I think I don't actually know if you can go to hospital birth as a doula if you are not vaccinated. I'm not sure. But I know that if you are vaccinated, you can come, and if you are the only one, then you will get tested there, or sometimes not. I just went to a birth where I was not tested, but I needed to wear the mask the whole time. And I needed to show them my, vaccination. So that's not like every hospital can choose on his own. So I think it's probably the same with you, or is it like regulated?
Yeah, I think each hospital chooses their own policies. Have you, or do you know if there's a rule for the birthing person if they have to wear a mask? Because that's been an issue here.
The birthing person? Sorry, my cat is coming to the door and just he was not there the whole day. Now he's like, meow, let me in.
Mama, let me
in. The birthing person, they can, in the beginning of the whole pandemic, it was an issue that they should wear the mask, and then they started to say, okay, if you in the beginning they're wearing a mask, and then later on they can switch up, or sometimes it's like they go there, and if they are tested, then afterwards they can go without. So, and also one birth I went to at the hospital, it was like we were both tested, and then we were in the Kreissaal, and every time we were there we couldn't like go without, and just the midwives had these masks on. So
yeah, it was pretty strict for us for a while with COVID. Like the first year, everyone's required, the birthing person to which I heard is very, very hard when you're trying to breathe deeply and push your baby out and all of those things. But in my experience lately, in the last 6 months or so, the hospital staff has been lightening up about it, and I've been with mamas who are keeping their mask off, which is, I think, better. And I just wear my mask, and any medical staff is wearing a mask. But I had a home birth 9 months ago, and I remember in the midst of a contraction yelling out, "It's cruel for any mother to have to wear a mask in labor." I was just thinking of all the women in hospitals at that moment wearing masks. It's hard to breathe.
Yeah, what we did, when we work with the pregnant people, we always ask them to practice, and we also sometimes say, you can also use it with an oil or something, or you can just put some lavender in it, and so that it smells a little bit like that and you can also use it a little bit as privacy. If you say, okay, my mask is my privacy, and I'm more like in my own space or something, you can also like
shift the context.
Yes. So that's what we tried with our people that they have not that, that they switch it a little bit, you know.
I like that. Yeah, nice.
Perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I think one thing that was really something when we talk, Celia and I talk a lot about all that stuff, and one thing that was like, for me, it was like, oh my God, is the money thing. You know, in Germany, it's like, so if you go to a hospital, everything's paid. If you have a home birth or go to a birth center, then you have to pay around 70 to 80 euros. And if you have a doula, you pay around 600 to 1,000 euros or something. So that's like the range, you know, that like the people in Germany are used to pay. And sometimes maybe a little bit more, but like, you know, and please tell me.
Yeah, it's very different here.
Yes.
But again, like, I think I live in a weird little bubble, and this is probably like the most expensive place in the world. I mean, health insurance is not great here, or healthcare is not great here. And everyone has different health insurance. Some are better than others. So some people, their whole birth in the hospital is covered. Sometimes they're paying a deductible, so they pay a couple $1,000s out of pocket, and then the insurance covers the rest. And I see the bill from the hospital. If their insurance didn't cover it, it would cost them like, I don't know, $20,000 to $80,000 for the birth. It's crazy.
It's just so crazy.
It's so crazy. God. And then home birth and birth centers are usually not covered under health insurance at all. So people, if you want to birth outside of the hospital, you're paying out of pocket, and that's going to be anywhere in the Bay Area. It would be anywhere from like $6,000 to $8,000 for an out of hospital birth. And then the doula going rate, as far as I know, I mean, maybe I'm undercharging, but is around like $1,500 to $2,500. So 2,500, and maybe even above that. I think likely it's above that in some cases. But that's the range that I know about. Yeah, so it's expensive here, but the cost of living is expensive here in general. Yeah.
Obviously, if you the range I just told you is if you go like somewhere like not a big city or something, then you pay maybe 600 to 7 or 8, and if you go to a city, then it's also, I think, around 800 or 1,200 or something. You know, it changes a little bit. Obviously, it's different in the cities. I mean, and also there are more doulas, and also doulas are more common. You know, if you go to a hospital in Hamburg, not everybody has worked with a doula, but everybody knows that they are doulas. So, and sometimes they are not really clear about what the role of the doula is. Sometimes they ask me about, you know, would you like to, you know, guide her through pushing or something? And I was like, no, it's, you know, when the baby comes, I was like, no, it's you are the midwife, do it.
That's funny. They asked me that too. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of that, of our role, like, I know we talked about how different our techniques are, or if some things that we do are similar. What do you find are the things that you use the most, or tools that you use the most from your doula bag, or with your hands, or affirmations?
I think a lot of affirmations, and also guided meditations. Sometimes just like some meditations that I have already written, and sometimes what just comes to my mind. And obviously like massaging, or also with the rebozo. So I think it's pretty similar. It's not that different. I don't know if I've like, when we were talking, I don't know if I've heard something that was really like out of, I think it's pretty much the same. Do you have something that you think is like very different?
No, I think it's pretty similar, all the things you said, and every doula is different. Like both of us have hypnobirthing backgrounds, so we probably bring in more guided meditation and breathing and affirmations than some other doulas. And in the last year or so, I've gotten much more educated and inspired by spinning babies. I don't know. You've done one of those workshops.
I've done it too.
Yeah. So I find their techniques to be really helpful in, releasing tension and making space for baby and helping labor flow and helping mom get into a rhythm. And even nurses and midwives are getting educated with spinning babies, which is really cool. I just did a workshop recently, and I think 80% of the people there were nurses from the local hospitals.
That's so nice. Yeah. I really like that too. I've done it before and I will do it again. I really like it, and it's a very great technique that you can use before birth, to practice, or during birth. And it's just I think it's just a very great technique. And it's also nice to, and if even if you don't know like the whole thing, but to have some of the techniques hands-on that you can just practice, is just very good to help the baby find the way.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. They have a great parent class on their website, and I always try to get my clients to watch it. I was just visiting with a client yesterday, her and her husband, and she said, we've been trying to watch this 2-hour video for a whole week, and he keeps falling asleep. and then he said to me, that's why we hired you. So yes, so I always bring that stuff into the birth, and we have our quick reference booklet too.
Yeah.
When in doubt, do a side lying release and go upside down.
That's great. And you also do postpartum, don't you?
I do sometimes. Yeah, not as much lately, having a little baby who keeps me up at night, but I have done a bunch of postpartum, and that's like a totally different world. And a lot of people don't fully prepare for postpartum because we're so focused on preparing for birth, and we don't really know what to expect postpartum. And sometimes it's a breeze, and quite often it's a bumpy road because you are a new person yourself after giving birth, and your partner is a new person, and you have a whole new relationship dynamic, and you're learning who this little baby is and figuring out what works for your family and what doesn't work, and getting less sleep and healing and all the things. So yeah, it's so valuable to have someone come in who can either educate you on newborn care stuff, or help with healing discomfort, or even just little things like taking the trash out and washing your dishes and making sure the laundry gets done. I wish I had that in my postpartum.
Yes. I just did the postpartum doula training.
Yay!
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. I will just for now I always did just one meeting after the birth, and I will start to also work postpartum. Yes.
Sweet. Yeah, it's different in terms of like the package too. Like I think we both offer a birth package. It comes with prenatal meetings, and we're there for the birth, and then there's a follow-up visit postpartum. And then if you want postpartum care, that's pretty different. At least here, I think most of us just charge an hourly rate of like $40 to $60 an hour, and then people can choose, if they want a night doula or daytime doula. And
that's just crazy. I don't know if we have this night doula thing in Germany. I think that's so fun. I mean, fun is not the right word for that, but I don't know. I don't really think, I mean, obviously you could do it here too, but I've never heard it here.
Interesting. Maybe it will start growing now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Here, I think that is in more demand than the daytime doulas here. Yeah. So a shift is something like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The doula comes and is basically there with the baby to either feed them a bottle or bring them to the mother to breastfeed every few hours, and then hold the baby, or just be with the baby so the parents can get as much sleep as possible.
I will find out if somebody's doing that here. I will find out.
It's hard work.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I just found out that like my sons are 4 and 6 right now, and they are at with their grandma, and I just found out that I don't sleep the whole night. Obviously, I mean, I thought that then when they would be that age, I would sleep through the whole night, but I don't. And now I have 3 nights of sleeping through. That's crazy.
This is what it's supposed to feel like. Oh,
yeah, that must be the way when it must be when it's a night shift doula.
Yeah.
I will hire that.
Yes, I know. We have my partner Ali, his sister, is visiting us right now, and she's sleeping in the kids' room with our 4-year-old. And so she kicked the baby out of there, and the baby's sleeping in our room again. And yeah, I am not sleeping through the night at all. She sees me and stands up in her crib. She's like, "Mama, Mama."
Oh yes, that's motherhood.
Yep. It's funny just how much goes into planning for birth, and then after that the real adventure begins.
You know what? I think I've forgotten to take the time. I don't know how long we are talking, but I think it's around 30 minutes, maybe, probably. And what we can do is that we ask for questions. So if you have a question for Celia and me, then you can write us a message, and I will just put my email address under, or something, a contact under the podcast, so that you can send us a message and send us questions, that we can have this conversation again. I know we had some questions on our list that we can talk through the next time, and probably we'll also find some other topics to talk about.
Always.
So we can do it again.
Yes, wonderful.
Yeah. Is there something that you would like? Is there something that you would like to have, like, as a tip or something hands-on that you would give to our doulas and everybody else who's listening right now?
Yeah, well, there's so many things I could say. I want to say, first of all, that if you are pregnant and, growing a baby, I believe 150% that you are capable of birthing your baby. And for most of us, birth just works when we leave it alone and give it space to happen and create an environment where we feel supported. And I'm a total birth nerd, and so I would love to leave you with my top 3 book recommendations. I have a whole page of books on my website that I love to recommend, but the ones I've been nerding out on most recently are Gentle Birth, Gentle Mothering by Dr. Sarah Buckley, Mindful Birthing by Nancy Bardacke, similar to hypnobirthing, and Give Birth Like a Feminist by Millie Hill. These books have been game changers in my perspective and my mindset going into birth, and I think would help any doula or any family who's preparing to have a baby.
That's great. I can also put the books in the show notes.
Awesome.
Yes, great. Thank you so much. For you, have a nice day.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Yes, without the kids. So I wish you all a very good day wherever you are, and hope to hear you soon in the Gebärmütter Talk. Bye-bye.
Bye.